Hi guys, welcome back, it's Chaz. In this episode we're going to do something a little bit different. I want to show you how to make a ship in Space Engineers. Now, this is going to be your first ship that you build in the game. So we're going to stay away from the iron engines and the iron thrusters and the hydrogen thrusters. Although anyone who is new to the game and not sure what they are, I'm just going to jump back in. So we've got three types of engines in Space Engineers, at least the unmodded versions. So we've got the ion thruster here. They just run on energy, but a lot of energy. They're not very good in atmosphere. I think they're about 11% effective in atmosphere, but they will run, and especially in space, they will be your main source of thrust. The next, we've got the hydrogen thruster. They're not current on because they need connecting to a hydrogen tank. They take a lot of ice, and they can be very heavy. Like transporting all the ice into space can be very heavy, and yeah, but they will provide you the most amount of thrust and are a very good source of speed. And the remaining one is the atmospheric thruster. You can see it's on there. It's got the fans at the front to show it's on. Now, these are all the large varieties. Well, on a large ship, on a large station. I've built a couple already. And this is the kind of ship that I want to try and show you how to make. They are running on on two batteries, and all atmospheric thrusters. Now, when I'm starting out, you're obviously limited to what materials that you've been able to mine. So I would usually get a rover to start with, but say you've mined the immediate area and you're ready to take the plunge into getting a ship. So this can be attached to your existing base, or you can make it standalone. I would usually just give myself a nice flat area to work with. What I also like to do is just build a little. I'm just gonna build it out a little bit here. Right, okay, so I'm going to swap to my grinder. Oh, there we go. I'm just going to take out one of these blocks here and here. And if we find the armor block, we're looking for the light armor slope. Just stick that in that way. And match it up on the other side. And that gives you a little bit of a walkway that you can kind of service the ship underneath. You can obviously tart it up the other side as well to make it look a bit better. But, okay, the first thing we need to build is a landing gear. You can build it without landing gear, but it just helps out going forward. Okay, so when I've gone onto my landing gear, it's gone onto like the large version straight away, and we don't need that. We need the small version. So if we just click 9 again, and it will give us a small one. It is a bit fiddly, but if you click 9 again, and it will turn into the small kind. Yeah, you see, we're on a bit of a slope there, so let's go. And you can use the controls to move it around, so you delete page down, end, just to spin it around a bit. Okay, so that's all in. We are shooting creative, so it's building it straight away, but the same rules apply for survival. Okay. Right. Cool. Okay, so I usually give myself a little bit of a buffer there, and then we need a cockpit. Now, I have got the frostbite, the frostbite DLC. So it's given me the extra, the industrial cockpit. I really like the look of this cockpit, and I would recommend you get it, but use whatever you have available. Again, if you've got mods as well, you might want to choose one of them ones. So there's my cockpit in place. The next good thing to do would be to get your tubing. Now, they're called conveyors. Conveyors will transfer the items between the cockpit and whatever cargo space that you might have. They're certainly good for when you're going into space and you want to get your oxygen into the cockpit. But I'm just going to basically get the tubing in there, and at a later date, say if we want to convert it into a spacefaring vessel, then we can certainly look at doing that. So I'm just going to get 2 tubes in there for now. Okay, so just referring back to my previous attempt at this, what have we got? Okay, so you can see I've kind of put we've got thrusters on there, and they're going to, sorry, scrap that. We've got a medium cargo container which we want to hook up to. Now, this would be good for transferring like different ores or different items between your mines or whatnot. So we definitely want to get a cargo container in there. So let's search for a cargo container. Now, I think yeah, okay. So we're gonna put a medium one in. The medium one only fits on like the small ships. You can't actually get it for the bigger ones. Right. Okay. So you see the tubes, the conveyors don't actually line up very well here. So I would like to eventually add a connector to it. So the connector takes like the big openings. So I need, what am I going to need? I'm just going to place one of them blocks there for now, and that will allow us to place it the way we want it. So something like that. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to have to quickly take out these. Oh, no, we need that one. The grinder's too powerful. Okay, right, so that's taken that out of there. Let's go back to the tubes, which we got rid of. Right. We want that one so we can swap between them. What you will notice is that the tubes, the conveyors are currently, well, when they're not connected to someone else, they've got like a yellow indicator. You can see on the ones that I've just placed on the other side that they're actually, we will get the hang of it, there we go, that they're red, and that means that they're not powered at the minute, which we will soon fix. Okay, so when you're first starting out in the game, you're probably not going to have access to the uranium ores, so that renders the nuclear reactors pretty much useless to start with. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put on a couple of batteries, because what do we need for the batteries? It's the power cells. They're not too difficult to get hold of, and I'm hoping by the time you've kind of got to this point, you've had a rover, you've explored the area, you've picked up a few mines, you've got your refineries going. So there are our batteries currently connected. Okay, so what else have we got going on with this ship? Okay, so we have got the big thrust at the back providing the majority of the thrust. So I suggest we get that on now. What you will find is you can't just add a thruster directly onto it. It needs to be connected via the sides. So I'm going to go and hook that up now. The kind of blocks I do like to use are these flat ones. Just makes it appear a little less bulky. So I'm going to... Oh, I can't see that. Sorry about that. The game got a bit buggy. Okay, so when I'm connecting the thruster, I like to use these, they're called the half-light armor blocks. And they just help it, give it a bit of a less kind of blocky kind of appearance. Okay, so we're just going to extend this block. I think we need it 2 or 3 out. We'll try 2, but we'll roll with that. Okay, yeah, so still... Okay, so 2 is fine. So you see I've connected that up, and that's all looking good. Okay, so I'm going to put my connector on now. This... What I've done on these ships is I've kind of replaced it with the 2 landing gears, and it kind of depends how you want to land it. One option would be to, I mean, you could possibly have the connector on the top. You could have it on maybe one of the sides or even at the back. Now, previously I had the connector on the bottom, and that would allow you to kind of dock on a base that had a connector at the bottom. That's quite good for if you wanted to almost automate the process. Say you're building a drone, or you just wanted it to be a bit quicker transferring items between your ship and your base. You could have the connector to dock onto the stations connector. So I'm going to do that now. I do like the idea of having the 4 sets of landing gears. It's good at picking up other ships and other blocks, but we'll put the connector on because it's a good way of starting. Okay, so the connector's on just fine. What else will we need? We do need to hook up some of the different directional thrusters. Okay, so I'm going to get the thrusters on now. We're going to need thrusters pointing pretty much in every direction. We've already got a forward thrust. I'm going to add 2 to give us a bit of stopping power on the front. What I've done here is I've kind of put 2 on each side. Whereabouts have we put them? Can't quite tell. Okay, on the first set batteries. Batteries. Something like that, yep. Cool, okay, so that's our directional thrust left and right. We will also need thrusters to get us up in the air. I think the only type of thruster that we haven't got on this ship is to go down. Now, we don't really need thrusters pointing downwards, because gravity will basically control that. So pressing space will get us to go up, and then C, we can basically just use the, but it will let us to go down. The only reason why we might want to add a downward thrust is for drones. If you're building automated drones, then they do need the downwards thrust to be able to control their how high they are and to come down. Okay, so where have I put the thrusters? I've kind of hidden the upwards thrusters on here. We could add more here if the cargo that we're carrying is a bit too heavy and we might need more. So I do like having these kind of like thruster compartments. The alternative would be to have 2 large engines either side, which, you know, again could work, but the kind of style I've gone for here is to have almost like a pack of 3. So I've kind of placed them in line with that middle one. So I think they're like that. So let's match up this side. So we've got our up and down. Well, we've got our up and down, yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much. No, I keep forgetting. We always need the gyroscopes. So we need to put the gyroscopes on, and this will basically allow us to look left and right and just give us the This will allow us to look left and right and allow us to control the ship. Now, we should only need 1. I've got 2 on this, and you can see it's very quick at moving around. So 2 might be a bit of overkill, but I do like to keep things quite symmetrical. So I'm gonna add 2 on. Now, where you put them doesn't really matter, but it's better to add it to the main beam of the ship. I'm gonna place them. I'll tell you what. I'm just gonna put the 1 in for now, and we can see how different it turns. It's got a nice slot for it there, so I'm going to leave it there. Now, that is all really we need for the ship. I'm pretty sure. You can add an antenna on that will allow you to see where it is and just do a bit of, if you combine that with like a remote control, you'll be able to automate this a little bit. But if I come out of it, press P, we didn't fall over, so that's good. We've got forward, we've got back, up, left, right, and down, and that gyroscope allows us to turn. And admittedly, it's a little bit slower than the other one, but I think that's all we'd really need. So yeah, the 2 thrusters on the front just give us just enough for us to slow down the ship. So pretty much anything now is going to be cosmetic, and there is quite a lot of skill to make a ship look nice. I don't claim to be the best, but I'm going to use some of the skills that I've learned or seen in Space Engineers to try and just make this look a little bit prettier. So you can see what I've done on here. I've kind of given it some armor modules on the left and right. It will help protect it a little bit more. I have used the light armor ones. You could use the heavy ones just to, if you're up against Gatling guns and whatnot. But this is more of like a it's like a cargo carrier. It's not really got any kind of like armaments and Okay, so I'm gonna add some armor to this, and I will come back and I will show you what I've done with the paint. Okay, cool. So I've added the armor blocks on. I've kind of replicated kind of what I've done here with the different armor modules. Now, the last step is to kind of add some paint to it. Actually, I'm going to remove this front landing gear. Now, this is great for landing on like anything, I don't know, like land or asteroids or anything like that. But I'm not a massive fan of them. I do wish that we had some kind of like landing platform that would come down, like almost like a plane in liftoff. So I'm just going to get rid of this for now. Thankfully it didn't fall. And I'll show you kind of how you would connect it to a either like another vessel or a station. So let's just fill that one in, and I want a connector here. Alright, okay, so we've got the connector there. What we do need is we need to make sure the space is powered. So let's plug it into a battery. Like so. And I'm going to jump back into this ship. Okay, I've just seen one problem there actually. I know when I was originally made this ship, I didn't have these extra little armor plates on, and so you can see if we try connecting now, it just wouldn't have, the connector wouldn't be, it needs to be a block down basically. So what we can do, if I take this off, and we can use one of these frames, place that over the top, and then we can place the connector back onto it. Okay, and that should allow us to dock, hopefully. Now, I've seen a lot of people do this in different ways. Sometimes they've got cameras on underneath. I usually find it's just easier just to try and line it up. Okay, so you can see it's got like a bit of a magnetic pull, and it's allowed us to pretty much dock. So we press P, now we're not going anywhere, and we can transfer items, and so yeah, it allows us to dock easily. So the last thing that we want to do now is to add a bit of a paintwork to it. Now we can paint it whatever colour you like. Paint it a nice bumblebee colour. I've done a whole video on this, but in essence you need to have the block. You actually need to have a block rather than a tool. Control Shift, and then that will make it a nice yellow colour. That actually looks quite, well, not terrible. It probably needs a bit of work, but that kind of has got like a bit of a industrial kind of look to it. In fact, let us leave it that colour for now. Does the darker one look any better? Whatever. Okay, so I am going to add some rust effect to it as well. I'm not going to paint it all the yellow rusty kind of colour because, yeah, it doesn't look great. So I'm going to swap that back to the battered one, go on to the rusty one, and I'm just going to just randomly click a few spots here and there just to kind of give it a bit of a grunge kind of look, as in it's not been fully looked after. And yeah, there we go. I'm happy with that. How's that looking? Not bad for a first ship. Not bad. And then from here we can go and collect all our resources, and then hopefully we can start turning this into, well, we can get into space. Cool, okay. Guys, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. I've also started a new Discord server, so the link's in the description below. It's also on the channel link. Appreciate if you guys came along and just we can talk about things. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.